want to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below.
With a shooting this afternoon. Police were called to Maximus Square near North Burtneck Road around 4. Investigators say 2 men got into a fight there. One of them pulled out a gun and shot the other. The victim drove to a nearby 7-Eleven for help. He was taken to the hospital in serious condition. The suspect stayed at the scene. The investigation is ongoing.
All right, so you were able to see and hear something from the short clip along with the lawyer who is representing them stated. So now I'm going to read you from a few sources here, and this is from the change.org petition. Upgrade the felony weapons charges to a federal hate crime. KKK member Patrick Fontaine Creath Jr. shot his white daughter's boyfriend 3 times on June 19, 2020 in Virginia Beach, VA. The 43-year-old Patrick Creath Jr. stayed at the scene. He was taken into custody and charged with felonious assault and use of a firearm in commission of a felony, which means that he has a firearm and he's also a known felon, which you're not supposed to be able to do. The outcry for justice on social media is great. Pictures of the black young man's injuries have circulated, showing the tragedy that took place on the afternoon of June 19th, which are horrific. Patrick Creath Jr. was released from jail on a $5,000 bond, or in some other cases they've said $500. His behavior was a hate crime and should be prosecuted as such. This petition is to bring change to the injustice to the young man that sustained injury due to racism. Had the situation been vice versa, the black young man would have been shot and put behind bars, or possibly worse. This story has not received the attention it deserves on local or national news. The charges should be upgraded to a federal hate crime charge with no bond. Please sign a petition to bring justice to the injured young man. The time of turning a blind eye to racism and hate is over. No longer will we tolerate being treated as less than human. We demand justice. All right, next source. This is from News One. As reported, a member of the Ku Klux Klan shot his daughter's black boyfriend multiple times during what is described without proof as an instance of self-defense last month in Virginia Beach. As a result, Patrick Fontaine Creath Jr. incredulously had his bail set at just $500. He paid it and is now conditionally a free man, after spending only 1 week in jail for an offense that has historically kept black suspects behind bars. Civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump brought to attention the case when he tweeted about it earlier Wednesday morning and identified Creath as, quote, a known member of the KKK. Creath, who was age 43, was charged with malicious wounding and the use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. And this is according to local news outlet Wavy. Instead of being hit with an attempted murder charge, Crump said Creath was, quote, trying to kill his daughter's boyfriend. Creath's relatively low bail brought attention to the discrepancy along racial lines for who receives bail and the amount of money that bonds are set at. Court documents show that Creath claimed on June 19th his daughter's boyfriend, quote, kept threatening to kill him and pointing a gun at him and his daughter as if to shoot them while driving away. Creath claimed he feared for their lives and shot his own gun at the boyfriend in defense of himself and his daughter. The boyfriend was hit 3 times and his car was riddled with bullets. Police responded to the scene and said that they recovered a gun that allegedly belonged to the boyfriend, who was treated for his non-life-threatening injuries at a local hospital. However, the boyfriend has not been charged with any crime, and as of Wednesday morning, quote, Virginia law defines a justifiable act of self-defense as when the person acting in self-defense did not provoke the attack. An excusable self-defense is defined in the law as a situation when a person provoked the attack but tried to retreat from the attack before using deadly force in self-defense. and this is from section 18.2-282 of Virginia law, also states that it is unlawful to display a firearm in attempts to scare another person unless a person is engaging in a justifiable or excusable self-defense situation. However, WUSA cautioned that those scenarios are under what is called the Castle Doctrine, which allows homeowners to use deadly force to protect themselves, their home, and their family. However, the use of deadly force must be considered reasonable. And the last story, and this is from Wavy 10. Man who shot his daughter's boyfriend in Virginia Beach told police it was in self-defense. A man accused of shooting his daughter's boyfriend in Virginia Beach told police that he fired his gun in self-defense. Patrick Creath Jr., age 43, is charged with malicious wounding and the use of a firearm and commission of a felony. The charges stem from a June 19th shooting in the 900 block of Maximus Square, where a man, Creath's daughter's boyfriend, was seriously injured. Creath was released from Virginia Beach Correctional Center on bond on June 26th. He is scheduled to appear in court in Virginia Beach General District Court on August 21st. Creath told police he was at the scene of the argument to talk to his daughter's boyfriend. He said the man, quote, kept threatening to kill me. The man continued to make threats as he got into his car. As he drove away, the man allegedly pointed a weapon at Creath and his daughter, quote, as if to shoot them. Creath told police he feared for his life and shot at the man's car several times in defense of himself and his daughter. The man was seriously injured in the shooting. He drove to a nearby 7-Eleven where VBPD and emergency services were called. Police found him suffering from several gunshot wounds inside of the store. His car was also damaged by bullets. An off-duty trooper told police the man removed a bag from his car and took it into the store. The police recovered the bag and found a gun. Quote, Mr. Creath remained on the scene of the shooting and was in possession of a firearm that he used at the time of police arrival. Regarding to the investigation as a whole, another firearm was in fact recovered. However, as of this investigation is still ongoing, we cannot comment whether it was recovered or who it belonged to at this point. Additional information will be released as it becomes available. And this was stated by VBPD officer Linda Kroon. And to also further note, the injured man and his family declined to speak to 10 on Your Side for a story, and he is not facing any charges for having said gun. All right, so we were able to hear roughly about 3 or so different narratives. You had the visuals, and then you also had 3 of the stories that I was able to give to you. So you guys can pick whichever one you decide that you want to go for that fits whatever you believe, right? The only 2 things that really stand out in the story is how the quote-unquote gun was found, right? And this was stated to be the young man's gun. One story basically stated that yes, the young man had a gun, and it wasn't hidden in any type of bag at all, nor did an off-duty officer find it. Another story said that yes, the young man had a gun in a bag that he brought with him to the 7-Eleven, and inside of that bag it had a gun in it. So those are roughly the only 2 discrepancies there. And I think in maybe in one of the other stories it didn't really list that the young man was the boyfriend of the man's daughter, right? So this is what I want people to understand. This is a white man who has a daughter who is dating a black guy who more than likely he doesn't like or he despises, and the boyfriend and the daughter were having a verbal argument, which normally most people have. So he decided that he wanted to sit there more than likely step in and tell the dude, like, hey, I don't want you sitting up there talking to my daughter like that, da 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 da. You know, normal stuff in a sense, I guess, that people do. But I guess at a certain point in time, the argument got heated, and more than likely, I can tell you what the father said. He more than likely sat up there and told the black guy, was like, hey, you know, more than likely keep running your mouth if you want to, keep talking. I got something for people like you, or I got guns and da 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 da. And more than likely, you know what the young man sat up there and said? He was like, oh, word? I got those too. Right? That's usually how those conversations go. But that's usually it. because people know that they're not realistically trying to go to that extent, because obviously the young man wasn't trying to go to that extent, because if it was, he would have been shot a long time ago. Obviously that was not what he was there to do. He was there to have whatever conversation with the girl that he was sitting up there dating, right? But like I said before, supernaturally, you have a white man and he didn't like how he felt that he was being disrespected, right? And he felt some type of way by how the argument was basically going, that yet again had literally nothing to do with him, because the relationship is with the people of the same age, which is the boyfriend and the daughter. And he decided to say that, oh, I spotted something in a car that he was pointing. Didn't say that if it was a gun or not, right? Because police have mistaken cell phones for guns. Police have set up there and mistaken the flashlight from a cell phone as the muzzle of a gun, and ended up shooting and killing people. So we don't know exactly what specifically he saw, because there is no video to corroborate anything that Creath stated, right? We can only go with the fact that he said that, hey, it looked like he had basically a gun. He waved it as if he was going to shoot me and my daughter, and you know, while he was driving off, I decided that I was going to pull out my gun and strike first. And that's exactly what he did. Nowhere in there did it say that the boyfriend fired any type of shots at all. Even when the boyfriend was driving, it wasn't stated that the boyfriend fired shots throughout the block trying to hit Creath and his daughter. Nowhere was that even stated at all. And I'm pretty sure that some people are going to sit up and say, well, what was he doing with a gun at all? Firstly, if you're going to sit up there and question why did the black young man have a gun, question how was it possible that a white felon has a gun, a firearm, for the most part. Let's get that one out the way. He's a felon with a firearm. So if you're going to question the black kid, you better set up there and make sure you question why this white man, who is a felon, a known felon in fact, which the police stated, right, was in possession of a firearm. Because we normally know in the United States that if you have a felony, you cannot possess a firearm. Interesting. So like I said before, if you're going to question anything about the black kid, question that father first. Let's question who is he connected to. What is his beliefs when it comes to black people and white people and the inception of America and different things like that. Who does he align himself with? Because as stated, it seems that he's actually a member of the KKK. We don't know if technically if it's 100% factual or not, but I'm just going by the fact of there's such a low bail, but yet only one person was injured. And it was that black young man who ended up getting his car shot up. Just saying. Now, the other thing that I'm going to sit up there and touch on is the same exact thing that I always state before to black men. And technically to black people in general. Doesn't matter if you're male and female, but in this case, it's going to lean more heavily towards black men when it comes to the story. This is why you yourselves need to be very cautious and careful with the people that you decide to sit up there and date, especially if you decide as a black man or a young black man to sit up there and date outside of your race. This is some of the things that is going to happen to you, because I'm going to tell you this right now. I've never at any point in time when I've gone on a date to pick up a black woman or a young black woman during the time of me being in high school or middle school, I was never in fear of my life that potentially their father's going to sit up there and shoot me. I never had an inkling or a thought that if I turn my back, that dad is going to sit up there and just like, start spraying bullets. That was never anything that I feared at all. But the one thing that I've understood through history, right, and that I've understood because of other people's experiences that they've shared, is that usually when they sit up there and decide to take an adventure and they want to date other women, you have to end up dealing with different customs and beliefs. You have to acknowledge the fact that you are a black man and you're dating this woman who is other, and chances are very great that their family is not going to like you, and for damn sure the father is not going to like you at all. So you're going to have a very, very, very tall mountain to climb. There's going to be a lot of thin air up there, and there's not going to be anybody to back you up or save you if things go awry. And clearly, this is what took place with this young man. This is exactly what took place. Like, you know, I'm going to say this to you know, the young man. I'm very happy that you are alive. I am very happy that your injuries, you know, look minor. It is nothing that is life-threatening at all. I'm happy that you did not lose your life. I'm happy that you get to sit up here and breathe air again. I'm happy that you get to sit up here and see your family, your friends. You get to do, you know, whatever fun things that, you know, you might like to do on the weekends, or, you know, different things like that, or watch your favorite TV shows, whatever it is, listen to your favorite artist. I'm happy that you are alive. But I'm very much hoping that this is, in a sense, a wake-up call for you, and that you will move differently when you decide to date. If you decide to sit up there and date outside of your race again, I hope that you will use this as a wake-up call, and you will move differently so that things like this won't happen again. And like I said, this also is a story, a cautious tale that can be pushed onto Black women also, that if you happen to date outside of your race, there's not going to be anybody there to help you if people decide that they want to you know, harm you in any type of way. There's not going to be anybody black that's going to be able to hear your cries, and that's going to be able to come to your aid in a variety of things like that. So if people actually did make it this far, note, this is a story that is heavily more leaning towards Black men and different things like that. That's why I spoke the way that I spoke. But I also stated that this is a story that can be used as an example and as a cautious tale for others in the Black community, especially our other half, which is Black women, of what can potentially happen when you decide to, you know, do something else. But regardless, there's probably some things I skipped over, like the bail and how low that was, but we already know what it is when you deal with the system that we are in, and one side is Black and one side is white. There is a certain set of rules for them, and there's a certain set of rules for us, and clearly this story is showing that, because you got a white man who was a felon that was able to procure a firearm somehow. We don't know if it was legal means or illegal means. But like I said before, let me know what you guys think about the story and everything that I listed in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.